All right, YouTube. This Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit. Today I'm gonna do a reaction video to Trap Lord Ross's uh, documentary on Tay Savage out of Chicago from Welch World. Now, this is gonna be my reporting on what I see in the documentary. Journalism, because Trap Lord Ross, he's made some very, very in-depth documentaries about Chicago drill culture. You know what I mean? And so has Vlad, 1090 Jacob. It's almost like these people, Caucasian people, they study us almost like National Geographic. Y'all remember National Geographic, where they go over there and they study and they watch the animals? This is almost how they do their documentaries as it relates to us. So this is just my reaction, my commentary on this under the Fair Usage Act of 1976. The work you're seeing on the computer, it's not my work. I'm merely going to report on it. Let's get into it.
Gangster rap first emerged from Los Angeles in the 1980s, fans have been obsessed with the gangsters behind the music, questioning whether the man holding the microphone is a real gangster like they say in their raps, or just an actor playing the role of gangster. When Tupac Shakur made the transition from dancer to gangster rapper, many people questioned the authenticity of his lyrics about the streets. However, his infamous manager Suge Knight, a member of the Blood Gang, was undeniably a fearsome gangster with a reputation for violence. A decade after the murder of Tupac, the world would be introduced to gangster rap 2.0 in the form of 50 Cent, the street hustler turned rapper who survived an assassination attempt where he was shot 9 times. 50 Cent's gangster was unquestionable, and his backstory, combined with top-tier lyricism on the mic, made him one of the most successful rappers in the history of the genre. 10 years later, the world would be introduced to gangster rap 3.0 in the form of Chief Keef. This 16-year-old affiliate of Chicago street gang the Black Disciples would shock the rap world with songs and music videos that gave fans a window into the life of a teenage Chicago gangbanger, surrounded by goons and guns, living in a place where ordering a hit is as easy as ordering a coffee, and where many people don't stand a chance of making it to age 18. Ever since Chief Keef emerged, the genre of Chicago drill music has been characterized by booming beats combined with gritty lyrics telling real stories from the streets. But what sets Chicago drill music apart from much of the gangster rap that came before it is the frequent use of lyrics to discuss real-life crimes and murders, often even referencing the victims directly by name. Whether it's the frequent dissing of a 15-year-old gangster disciple by the name of Tuka who was murdered, to more recently, fellow Black Disciple rapper King Von, who as well as being rumored to have played a role in as many as 7 Chicago murders, would eerily make a rap song and music video depicting himself murdering longtime rival FBG Duck only months before the real-life murder of Duck would play out on the streets of Chicago, with it even being rumored that Von himself had placed the $100,000 bounty on Duck's head that got him killed. For the past few years, King Von has become a prime example of a gangster rapper who really lived what he rapped about, with his buzzing rap career seemingly being boosted dramatically by his reputation as a real killer who did dirt in the streets and got away with it. However, since King Von was killed in a fight outside of a nightclub in November 2020, Chicago drill fans have been desperately looking for the next big thing, the next drill rapper who really did all the things they rap about and are a genuine gangster in the streets as well as on the microphone. And in 2022, drill music might have just found the realest thing.
I'm going to elaborate on what he just said. In the black community, are we really looking for the next drill rapper who has committed all the crimes he rap about? Or is that Trap Lord Ross projecting? I mean, he made a lot of money off his documentary about King Von. It went into millions. He made a lot of money about the unaliving of FBG Duck. He made a lot of money about No Limit and with Cairo. He's made a lot of money off the chaos in the black community. And he says, what you just heard. We're waiting on the next drill rapper who actually been out here drilling people. That's what he thinks. Let's continue.
Since King Von. Tay Savage, real name Dwayne Timberlake, is a Chicago gangster with an extensive resume in the streets. So much so that police paperwork even refers to him by his nicknames Badass Tay or Trigger Happy Tay, and other legendary figures in Chicago drill like.
I'm gonna interject one more time, just to elaborate on something he said again that I didn't know. That your criminal record is your resume. No.
Like Tay 600 would openly confirm the rumors of Tay being a genuine gangster.
You know, y'all always asking me about Tay Savage and did I know him and is he really like what we heard? To say the least, a lot of gangster shit happened, a lot of real street shit going on, but he beat two murders. He beat Sess and Neek right up, beat him right up. He definitely who y'all think he is. And he want me to let y'all know that. Like this ain't none of me talking out of turn. Folks really him. I ain't gonna lie to you. He really the first Vaughn. He just never did the rapping and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like all the fans like the rappers who rap what they really live. If y'all wanna go listen to it who really live what they rap, go listen to Tay Savage.
Much like King Von, Tay Savage made a name for himself as a gangster long before he started making a name for himself as a rapper. He would actually be accused of being the trigger man in two back-to-back murders of a man and woman named Sess and Neef that took place in 2011, allegedly revenge for a close friend of his named Welch that had allegedly been set up and killed by the deceased duo. Tay's involvement in these murders appears to be one of the worst-kept secrets in Chicago drill history. And yet, with the streets knowing exactly what he had done, Tay Savage would end up spectacularly beating both murder charges at a trial, beating the state so bad that as a result, they would come down on.
Okay. I'm gonna say one more thing. Like I follow Tay Savage. I like Tay Savage. Tay Savage is from his character. Tay Savage is a good dude. And Tay Savage just came home. I mean, everybody want to make some money, and some people even want to be famous. But somebody tagged Tay Savage and asked him this question: Tay, do you really want to be this famous?
Tay extra hard for an armed robbery charge, which even despite efforts to take out the witnesses, resulted in Tay getting slapped with a monster sentence of 20 years in jail. However, he would end up serving just under 10 years of this sentence before being released on parole. And much like Von, upon his release, Tay would seize the opportunity, quickly becoming Chicago's most buzzing rapper, racking up millions of spins with stories all about his life as a Chicago gang member who beats murders like they're nothing. So today, let's take a closer look at Tay Savage, the murders, the music, and the man who everybody says is the realest gangster rapper to emerge from Chicago drill since King Von.
Y'all call him Tay Sav, bro. I call him John Wick.
I've been through a lot. I'm shot, stabbed, locked up for murders. Easy. All for murders.
You beat a couple of murders.
But he beat two murders.
Beat murders.
How long did you actually do in jail, like consecutively?
I did 8 years and 9 months. Locked up attempts. And I had some attempts before that. I had 2 attempts I beat. I did 18 months on that. Armed robberies.
But then you actually ended up getting locked up for like 9, 10 years off a robbery, right?
Yeah. You know, I was fighting two separate murders and a carjack.
He beat Sess and Neek right up, beat him right up.
Beat with a set, her daughter, a rapper.
The situation with him allegedly killing Blazing Dog Mama.
And you had reposted her music.
Yeah, I just want to support her. But that's the least I could do. Yeah.
I know he killed that girl mama. He shot at me. It hit different.
I beat those.
Okay, that was FYBJ man. Chicago, what's going on with y'all? Chicago for real. FBG man just said on there he know Tay Savage shot that girl mama. That's what he said. Let's watch.
I beat those murders, you know what I'm saying? And that's a blessing. All for murders.
I seen somebody and I couldn't visualize their face.
But whoever did it had a mask on, you feel me? whoever smoked out had a mask on. Some of them were saying that I did. They said my name, pointing me out in lineup.
I know it's you, Tay. Do some John Wick, Sean.
See, I would have beat that. I would have beat that.
If y'all want to go listen to who really live what they rap, go listen to Tay Savage.
Only reason I say he is savage is because of what I seen with my own eyes.
You can't believe nothing he say. Nothing.
The story of Tay Savage and Welch World takes place in an infamous part of Chicago's South Side.
When I was going to Wayne State, they had a course called Urban Studies. Now, from the name, you might think urban studies may be like studying black culture or music and things of that nature. Urban studies is how to migrate people, green line them, red line them, put people in certain areas, gentrify them. It's about controlling the populace. That's what the whole thing is about. What he finna show you is that on some level he studied urban science, and that's why he's able to do what he do and get in depth through some other connections. Because this is urban science. How he finna break this down?
Known as the Low End. The Low End is a name that Chicago locals use for the neighborhoods that are roughly located in and around the Bronzeville district. This is an area that, unlike most of the famous hoods of Chicago, like O Block, Lamron, Tuckerville, or Jarrow City, exists on the north side of Washington Park and is located much closer to downtown Chicago. The name the Low End is derived from both the location in the lower numbered streets of the South Side and the neighborhood's lowly status. This lowly status was true particularly in the past when Bronzeville and the surrounding area were home to some of Chicago's and America's largest social housing projects, such as the Ida B. Wells Homes, Harold L. Ikes Homes, Stateway Gardens, and Robert Taylor Homes, which was the largest public housing project in the United States. Many of these projects were built along the State Street, forming the so-called State Street Corridor, a huge aggregation of enormous social housing projects, which included the Harold L. Ikes Homes, Robert Taylor Homes, Dearborn Homes, Stateway Gardens, and Hillard Homes. These projects were enormous and ridden with crushing poverty, crime,
And they made them projects all like that all across the country. Detroit, you got the Brewster projects, Jeffrey projects, uh, Warren Connor, all kind of projects. But they do it all over the country, and that's what these social scientists do. They engineer society and put people where they want to be, where they want them to be, and then they get scientific. Look, the clinical way he's trying to describe King Von and Tay Savage is generic because he's missing a component to understand exactly their driving force because he lacks melanin. I'm just going to interject that. He lacks melanin, so everything with him is like logic. There's no sense of really a sentiment behind what they do. So you got to understand that.
violence that reached their peak during the 80s and 90s, when these areas were often referred to in the media as full-blown war zones, where gangs were large and well organized, with some even having snipers on the roof to keep rival gangs and the police at bay. But in order to understand how the low end came to be so dangerous, we need to go even further into the past, to a lesser-known period when the area and its citizens were actually thriving. In the early 1900s, as a series of oppressive and discriminatory laws were emerging in numerous southern states, known today as the Jim Crow laws, these laws were meant to marginalize black citizens by denying them the right to vote, hold jobs, or get an education. In response to this discrimination, a significant number of African Americans chose to relocate their families to the northern states in pursuit of a better life and improved opportunities in what became recognized as the Great Migration. In Chicago, many of these African Americans settled in and around what is now known as Bronzeville, but at the time, it became known as the Black Belt, partly due to its belt-like shape. Particularly later, it was also known by the more flattering name, the Black Metropolis, which more appropriately reflected the neighborhood's character at the time, with it becoming known for its lively streets, with many shops, enterprises, medical facilities, and educational institutions managed by African Americans. It also became renowned as a hub for music, particularly jazz and blues, which garnered immense popularity amongst both the white and black populations, with the area eventually becoming home to numerous distinguished African American creators and thinkers, including sociologist Horace Clayton, journalist and advocate Ida B. Wells, and jazz icon Louis Armstrong. However, the black metropolis didn't simply form as a result of African Americans sticking together in their new hometown, but rather, even in northern cities like Chicago, there were increasingly laws in place that in different ways allowed the segregation and discrimination against African Americans. For example, restrictive covenants, which permitted black citizens to only live within certain neighborhoods where they were already the majority. The racial tensions in Chicago and the rest of the country finally boiled over in the summer of 1919, which became known.
I showed you my phone because I want you to see that. I think, let me be sure. I think he just posted this video to YouTube, maybe not even a couple of hours ago. It's like hours. It's literally like hours. And it's going viral as we speak.
Known as the Red Summer, due to massive white supremacist terrorism, race riots, and massacres taking place all over the United States. In Chicago, things reportedly erupted after the murder of a 17-year-old black teenager named Eugene Williams, who was at the beach rafting with some friends and ended up getting stoned to death by a white man named George Stauber for allegedly crossing an invisible racial line between black and white beaches. Williams ended up dying in the water as a result of the stones thrown at him, and after the police refused to arrest Stauber, unrest soon spread rapidly amongst the people at the beach. This eventually caused one distraught black man to fire his gun towards the police, leading him to be killed on the spot. Now, these were already volatile.
I'm going to move it past that.
Heritage in both the Black Disciples and the Gangster Disciples street gangs, with many of the smaller gang sets in modern-day Chicago being made up of a variety of people with heritage in different street gangs. As Tay explained himself in a No Jumper interview, this gang didn't care about your original affiliations at all.
So, in terms of well, break it down for me, because they said when I was reading about your history and stuff that Welsh World contains GDs and BDs.
Yeah, y'all. So man, we got a mixture. Like we got a mixture in our hood. You feel me? We got all type of stuff. BD, GD, fo. I don't know. We got all types of stuff. We don't really care about that, to be honest with you. So you ain't gonna never just see us like, oh yeah, we super GDK. Now, little bro, them, they like most of them all BDs. Most all like Bookie the G and all them. They mostly all BDs. Guys like my age, it's all a mixture. Like we don't really care about that. We all 40th, 43rd, So Icy, Welsh World.
The set So Icy likely got their name after
Correct me if I'm wrong, but ain't Young Thug and YSL going through RICO about being gang affiliated right now? Ain't K Flock and them in New York going through RICO and going to prison about being in the gang right now? Even in Chicago, you got the old block members going on trial for being prosecuted for gang activity and RICO. So why are these brothers still allowing themselves to go on these interviews and incriminate themselves, and everybody is talking about open crimes in the face of all this prosecution?
Gucci Mane's first hit song with Young Jeezy by the same name, and the members were clearly already big fans of Gucci Mane, with Tay Savage himself being seen in early Facebook videos actually dancing to Gucci Mane's classic anthem, My Kitchen. And it would appear that members of So Icy have aspirations in the rap game too, with So Icy members recording themselves freestyling on the block.
So Icy, we 40 you. Catch us where that camera. 39, we taking over. All them counterfeit. We gangsters in the making. Dreaded like Jamaicans. First young.
Let's move on.
Period. You just wanted to be like one of the homies. You didn't think you had the star potential.
I mean, now you can say anything. As you can see.
You got to realize with Trap Lord Ross, his videos be hours. They be hours. So I'm just looking at some excerpts and giving my take on the whole thing, because his documentaries, and if you look at the catalog of them, it's deep. It's deep. It's how they has monetized these boys' name.
See, you can say anything, and but it wasn't really that easy to me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I got the thoughts, I got the I got the
life experience.
Yeah, the life experience. So I should be able to, it's just kind of hard to put it in words and make sense and make you know what I'm saying?
Perhaps due to the stipulations of his release, he was seemingly working a legitimate job and tweeting about how slow the days go by when you're working. However, despite having to get an honest 9 to 5, Tay was still close to many of the key figures in the early drill scene, particularly on the BD side the BD versus GD's gang war. And he can be seen in old photos from that time hanging out with guys like Lil Reese, who he's still close to, as well as fallen O-Block members T-Roy and Jay Munna. Tay was also seemingly on positive terms with Chicago rapper Lil Durk, and members of his OTF collective regularly retweeting them. And he was commonly speaking with the rapper and fellow low-ender Katie Got Bands from OBN, as well as being in contact with the sister of Tay 600, Mena Red, and sister of King Von, Kayla B. Tay was clearly incredibly social with many of the new legendary figures from the Chicago streets, and he would seemingly have a knack for bringing people together you might not expect to see in the same place. Tay was also seemingly good friends with guys like THF Bezu and Mubu Crump, and in a now infamous video, they can all be seen in the car together, all of them holding some pretty serious weaponry, ready and armed for the ops.
It's a whole lot of fake going on. This ain't fake though. That motherfucker ain't fake, man.
That's how we ride.
Don't buy another lottery ticket before you see this. Do you want to know how repeat lottery winners are able to win over and over?
That ain't fake, man.
Crump would actually tweet about Bezu, saying that he talks a lot about Melly, but Tay had Bezu and Melly in the car together. And Tay would indeed allegedly bring together THF Bezu and 051 Melly, despite both Tay and Bezu being at war with Melly's Young Money set.
Oh, well, that's Melly. He what? I ain't no shit though about the band. Yeah, he really on. You know, that's they. You know, cause they used to be on like 670 East End, but yeah, they ain't really even know who. Like it's like you know the internet. Not everybody know everybody's face. You know what I'm saying?
Despite being fresh home out of jail, he was still trigger happy Tay, and many stories would circulate around this time about the shootouts that Tay had become involved in, with a lot of the violence stemming from the conflicting and confusing relationships Tay had across lines of the many Chicago gang wars. Tay would later open up about his relationship with Melly from 051, Young Money, in interviews explaining that at first he didn't know anything about Melly, but he would come to know him due to the fact that Melly had a relationship with Welch's baby mother, and that Welch World largely inherited their beef with Young Money from THF 46.
So man, it's a crazy story, man. Look, so man, at first I didn't even know who Melly was.
You know why I don't like these videos? Because something bad always happened to these young brothers after they've been went on a show like that. You know what I'm saying? After they've been and got exposed, after they've been incriminated themselves and said all these things and got a little bit of money, something bad usually happens right after that.
But he stopped Welch's baby mama and shit, so you know, bro, them tell him like, man, you know, Melly, because at first we wasn't even too Young Money. We kind of like inherit that beef through the six, them the guys, so you know they think, all right, so we on their ass. But so she stopped with him, you know, once it kind of like really started heating up between us.
After getting released from prison, however, Tay would hear rumors about Melly talking about him.
When I had came home, you feel me? Melly ass was just like talking, I guess, sending a lot of threats and stupid. Like a lot of them calling like, yeah, Melly said this, Melly said that. Oh, who the fuck is Melly? He from 051, what the damn, what the damn. All right, man. So I'm studying this.
And according to Tay, one night at a club, he would end up running into Motor from Jaro City, who was his old cellmate.
I was locked up with Motor, you feel me? So I kind of had like a relationship with Motor.
Motor was a good friend of Melly, and the two would end up getting in a conversation about him.
When I come home, I had be 2 attempts to come home, and man, so many motherfuckers that they call it to my ear. Melly saying this, Melly saying that, Melly saying that, catching Melly. Wow, I'm good. So, man, one day we in a club. I run into Motor. You feel me? We got Reese with us. Now we not knowing that this like Hottie Day or some shit. You feel me? We in deja vu. So, so we see Motor, so I locked up with Motor. You feel me? So, you know, we rotate with him and shit. Man, who Reese here with? He here with us. So, you know, we on his ass, man. Hey, you feel me? Here with us. Good. So we kind of have verse with the night. Matter of fact, what Melly at anyway, man? I'm studying about this Melly, man. He with you. So folks around, watch the bam, my check. He tell him I'm out here, though. Good.
They both would also have other people with them, namely Lil Reese, who was with Tay, and FYBJ Maine, who was with Motor.
So we go to the club and shit. So yeah, we had Reese with us that day.
In the club on phone number, I got them members with me. Do your homework on FYBJ Maine having members with him, bro. It hit different. Long live Motor, BD Motor. It hit different when it's BD Motor I was with, bro. Nah, we in the club, bro, on phone number doing us. Motor in there, throwing up the trays. Do your homework on throwing up the trays with one hand and cracking them with the other.
What does that mean?
That mean you BD, but you BDK, bro. It hit different, bro.
Okay.
According to J Maine, Lil Reese had previously come through his hood shooting at them as a result of a family feud they were having, and J Maine wanted revenge, ultimately confronting Reese in the club.
Now, Reese see me get scared. It hit different when you see Big FYBJ Maine miss.
Now the crazy part about this, if you follow drill culture and you follow these guys out of Chicago, they've told all these stories on the internet. All this that you're seeing is public knowledge on the internet. On the internet. Now, I mean, look at them. I'm lost for words.
It hit different in person. Why he scared, Sean? Cause he just came through the hood and la 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 la. So he already know what time it is, bro. It hit different. So on phone number, he see J Maine mug now. Nah, mug. Why y'all letting them run up on me, man? Why y'all letting them run up on me? Keep in mind, I don't know Tay Savage. From what I'm understanding, I'm guessing he is one of the other individuals who was there. I see red when I see you, so my eyes is focused on him. That's the only person I'm seeing, and he telling security, why y'all letting these walk up on me, man? I know these, man. I know them.
Lil Reese told that to security.
This is what Lil Reese telling security. Now he's backing up behind security. Remember I told you it's some stairs right here.
And then, as both crews were later leaving the club, they would see each other again, getting into a shootout, with J Maine ducking under a hail of bullets and somebody shooting back, allegedly shooting Tay Savage in the nose.
After that, goddamn it, we leaving. They get on us. They fake it on the con. We get into a bang out. Like, all right, skin my nose. They got what they got, whatever. But
I hear somebody get shot in their nose, bro. It hit different. We see somebody fall. We jump in car.
The next morning, Tay's uncle would call him, as he was a close friend with Melly's uncle, with both being from Tay's old hood. And the uncles were actually trying to organize a peace treaty between Welch World and Young Money, but Tay wouldn't go for that. However, he would develop a somewhat of a cordial relationship with 051 Melly.
so long story short, my uncles. See, I got some uncles that's tied in with his uncles. So like the next morning they called me like, man, pull up out the band. So I pull up. You got your mail Motor in the crib. Matter of fact, he asked my name, but we had a
I'm gonna stop there. Shout out to Trap Lord Ross. Y'all can go over there to his channel and watch the whole video. It's like almost 2 hours long. There's more of this, but I don't know if Tay Savage want to be this famous. We've seen this before. It's like, how many times we're gonna see the same scenario? That's why I showed you on the phone. Like, he just made the video and they going viral already. Tay Savage Welch. So, standing to you out of Detroit. This is Detroit's HPTV. Like, share, and subscribe. Go check out the video for yourself. Tell me what you think.